My name is Steve Chapelle. I've been with VectorVest. It'll be 19 years, October the 4th. That anniversary is coming around. So it's been quite a ride. Been here since, boy, they were just coming off floppy disk, when I started here.
Old.
I mean, we had the old dial-up connections, that AOL and all that stuff. We actually had to program people's modems and things just to get them to be able to connect to our software. So it's just kind of interesting to have been a part of VectorVest for this whole ride. It's been tremendous. And, the good news, I think we'll be here 25 years from now, so all good. So now I guess I'll get to my pick.
Got you.
I've been here since Moses parted the sea.
That's a long time. You've been here when the Grand Canyon was just a crack in the road.
Yeah, I've been here a while.
Okay.
All right, so moving on, we'll start with, we've got AGQ there. So I'm going to go with the silver play this time. As you guys know, if you've been to the hot stock picking panels here over the past, 6 months, actually going back to last year.
Yeah.
I've traditionally had a gold pick. I still think gold goes higher. I really do. Gold's hitting new highs now. I'm moving on to silver. Silver's got only about another 50% to run just to catch prior peaks on silver itself. So I think there might be some more vigilant upside, if you will, some more power move in silver compared to gold at this stage. That's just my own personal take, and really it's just a matter of what I see on the charts from a long while back. Where has gold been before, where has silver been, and where are we now? So in my own portfolios, I've been transitioning. I've still got a bunch of gold, mind you, but I've been transitioning more and more over to silver. This is an aggressive play, but I think, as Glenn alluded to earlier, I don't see any situation where there's not continued quantitative easing, at least at this point. So I'm staying strong with precious metals, just transitioning to silver. This is 3-time leverage fund, so you're not going to get much analysis from VectorVest on RV and RS because it's an exchange-traded fund, and in this case, it's silver, the direct asset. Okay, so it's really just its performance is going to be reliant on how silver moves as a whole, not the miners or any of that jazz. Just the underlying instrument itself, which is great. Anytime there's a plus, there's a minus. So the leverage is tremendous when you get this right. It can also work against you threefold if we get the timing wrong. Certainly all the precious metals have moved a great deal. So this wouldn't be for the faint of heart, but it'd be the way that I would still encourage folks to go. I just think they've got more room to run, guys. I really do. So if you want an alternative, you could go, what is that direct one, Jim? SLV?
SLV, yep.
SLV would be another way to go if you want to take out all the leverage. I just chose the triple leverage because I think we'll be able to capitalize on that. So that was the first pick. Did we go through all of them on the grid first?
Yeah, do that and then we'll go to the graphs.
All right, next one's going to be grow generation. All right, so there's two marijuana stocks that I would be a big proponent of. One is Innovative Industries, which is IIPR. Trades right now at about $117 a share, but has all the upside in the world because it deals primarily with the real estate involved down the line. Obviously, if Democrats take full control over every major office, I think you could see some marijuana legislation in the future. So just like with clean energy, I think you're going to see a pretty good run up in marijuana-based corporations heading into at least the election, and maybe a giant leap on the back of the election depending on outcomes. So I think playing something in the space makes sense. I would go either IIPR or, in this case, grow generation is what I chose. I realize they're trading a little bit overvalue right now, but as we go through the rest of the columns, first one we come to is RV. That's your upside potential indicator. It looks at whether you're better off longer term on a similar investment in a AAA bond or here in the particular stock. What this is telling you is they're growing earnings at such a rate that you're traditionally going to be much better off buying this stock. Okay, anything above 1 is good. Anything above 1.4 is excellent. So we're coming in at 145, tremendous number there. If Glenn takes his cursor and goes to the right-hand edge, you'll see why. They're actually turning a profit already, even though they're trading less than $10, and they're growing that at 44% a year. So I think they're making 21 cents on a forecasted basis, but growing it at 44% a year just a little bit more. I think COVID might put a little bit of a damper on some of their plans, but they are expecting to have 90 stores by 2023. So it's a tremendous high growth story. And what I like about them is they deal with helping you grow the product. So again, it's a lot like IIPR, dealing with the real estate. You're not as pinned down to, is everybody going to be buying my crop? More so, are they going to need, my fertilizers and my hydroponics and my all this to grow an even better crop? So I just think it's a smarter play. I think picking the winner, as we've seen Canopy Growth, we've seen Aurora Cannabis almost go bankrupt, by the way, and they were one of the big four leaders just a couple years ago. So I think growers are extremely volatile and extremely risky. I think I'd play broad market here, and I'd go with something like Grow Generation. And one thing in VectorVest you can always do, guys, is right click and you can view stock analysis report and learn a little bit about this companies this way. Here it says, Grow Generation Corp engages in the retail of hydroponic and organic specialty gardening products. It offers lighting fixtures, nutrients, seeds, growing media systems, trays, fans, filters, humidifiers, dehumidifiers, timers, instruments, water pumps, irrigation supplies, and hand tools.
That's a lot of stuff.
That is a lot of stuff to grow some weed. Just put it in the ground and grow it. Well, you gotta grow. Just put it in. Water it.
Is there anything that they don't sell?
Just water it. And let it grow. Okay.
Yeah, so I've actually seen some good things here. Above and beyond that, I always like to do some additional research, but that gives you a pretty good sense of what they do anyway. Anyway, I like to pick a good bet. And if I was going to play marijuana, again, it would be IIPR or GRWG for sure. And then finally, that brings us to Sorrento. Best trade in the Jockey Club, at least this month, maybe. Although, Glenn, you had a big one.
That was a couple months ago, last month.
Yeah.
Something like that.
We made 77% on this trade. It's done so well, guys, that this pick, unfortunately, I've already closed my position, but it's only because we got in last week. So I still think there's tremendous opportunity here, and I'm going to go into why. Let's go through the numbers first, then I'll give you the backstory here as well. And the backstory's good. But you got a $19 price tag now. I think we got in at around 11 last week. If you look at the price change today, it is up 33. This is the hot stock picking panel after all.
Yep.
This sucker's super hot, Glenn.
Woo!
Smoking hot.
Wow! Smoking.
And in fact, I think it's getting back towards highs for the day. Anyway, relative value, it does have some fundamental, for a biomed that's kind of story related, it does have some fundamentals to it. It is aggressive, and Glenn laid that out earlier. Anytime your relative safety is below 1, you're dealing with a more aggressive play. Relative timing is super strong at 182. This thing's flying, guys. I mean, just flying. And of course, they've got earnings and they've got some real growth to go with it. So in the space, it's actually a pretty good play just based on fundamentals alone. Then you throw in the backstory. So here's the backstory, and here's where it gets good for me. Has anybody seen those probes that they test people for COVID with that looks like they're going to tickle your brain with it?
Yeah.
Looks very
Yeah.
painful.
I've been through that.
That's the last thing I think I want to do is go have somebody stick one of those things
And
up
tickle
both
your
nostrils.
brain.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do that.
Me neither.
What Sorrento has done, guys, they've created a test that is portable, and it can go to point of contact, or it can go to your house. It's saliva based. And you literally are just going to gather some saliva, put it in a vial, and you'll have your own result in 30 minutes. And it's easy enough that they tell me they're going to have a dummy book on it. Dummies can do this just as good as anybody.
You're all set, Glenn. You're good to go, my friend.
So, no,
I'm sorry, that was a softball he threw.
I tried to give you something to get me back.
Oh, no, that's all right.
No, but real talk, I mean, just going back to that, when you think about that, I think that's why they're flying, guys. I think that's why they're flying. And Sorrento is not a fly-by-night company. They've been around a long while. In fact, Jerry D'Ambrosio had a trade several years ago where we made 246% on Sorrento. 246% on a single trade. Okay, so this is a company that's been in the news before, does have a big following, does like to go on tremendous runs. Not only do they have that nice testing, they also are working on a preventative that actually boosts the immune system, something that could be that they feel could have merit even if the COVID virus continues to mutate. Of course, I heard from Iceland, if you believe all the studies and things, but this thing's already mutated some 200 times or something like that. But with all the news that's out there, it's hard to know what to believe anymore. So I wouldn't put too much stock in what I just said, but their belief anyway is they're onto something that even if this thing mutates, that they feel could create antibodies within our immune system that could help to fend off the virus in the future. So they got a couple of things going. They've got the testing. They've also got a potential preventative, not a cure, but a preventative. And so we want to look at the charts, or you guys want to?
No, let's go look at the charts.
All right, let's look at the charts. So we'll start with silver.
Yep.
Excellent. So this is a look at the silver. Obviously, it's on a pretty strong trend right now. It did hit a new high today. And I'm going to go back to what Jim said earlier. To me, I'm not going to get too cute here. You're getting a fairly decent price right now on today's action. Could this thing pull down a few dollars before it goes higher? Yes. It is triple leverage, so it's even more susceptible. The thing you got to be careful about with the triple leverage is if silver just even goes sideways, the triple leverage can actually fall on you a good bit because there's no movement in the underlying. So you need to be careful, and if that worries you at all, go with the SLV, okay? And then go ahead, guys.
I like the pick. I like the idea of precious metals. Probably still is a really good way to go. I like the idea of, diversifying, moving over to silver. Gold is still doing its thing, but silver is. I like the 50% of its highs tells you that silver within the precious metal field. It's got a lot of room still to go.
Yeah, actually, drag that back, Glenn. Do like 5 years or something.
5 years?
Maybe 10.
10?
Yeah. It's got a lot of room to go.
Good gravy. That's got a lot of room to go.
Now, that's triple leverage, so it's not really to silver scale, but
Wow.
It's trading about half, guys, about half of what it has.
And even looking at the last year, that's a big move. And, the dollar going down, gold going up, silver, precious metals, it's a good pick. Jim?
Yeah, same as gold here. Like Steve said, I mean, the narrative isn't going to, in my opinion, isn't going to change anytime soon. So just another way to play the precious metals. Glenn, type in SIL real quick.
Sure.
I know we've talked about SLV, but it was one I was looking at earlier.
Global silver.
Right. So that's another one. I don't know if that's triple leveraged or not. I'm not sure, but
I don't know.
But that's just another one that I was actually looking at earlier. I just wasn't sure. But the idea is the same as gold. I mean, as Glenn said, the dollar is going to devalue. It's got a long way to move, a long way to go.
How about 3 picks, and we've given you 3 ETFs to look at as well. So
Sign of the times.
That's some hotness right there.
There's another one on the way.
There's some hotness right there. All right, you ready to go to your next stop?
Yeah, sure.
All right, GRWG.
All right, quick and painless here. It's a growth story. So on the bottom we have growth rate actually, and you can see growth rate is continuing to step higher even in the midst of the pandemic that we're in. That's of course an aggregate number from all of the Thomson Reuters, probably thousands of analysts that cover the stock. Well, on Grow Generation, let's just say hundreds at least. Thousands on something like an Apple, for example. But it gives you a good idea on where they're headed to. So I think that helps propel the stock higher. Plus, just it's got good numbers in VectorVest, and for the reasons mentioned earlier, I think heading into the election, there's going to be some growth in the marijuana space. Go ahead.
I think that as a marijuana stock, to find a stock like this with the earnings growth rate is so important. As Steve alluded to, our earnings is forecasted. I don't know if he did or not. We're going to talk about it now. It's forecasted 12 months out. So why is that helpful to go see what it should look like by this time next year? Earnings is a beautiful thing, but earnings growth is even more beautifuler. And that's a Glennism. I don't care. Listen, good or beautiful or don't care. That's a great stock in this space that everybody still calls speculative. Yeah. Everybody still says, hey, blah, blah, blah. Listen, that's a good pick. as a strong candidate to hold going into the summer. That's all I got to say about that. That graphic in and of itself is a good graphic. Jim?
Yeah, I like the idea that it's not, Steve alluded to some of the other marijuana stocks, and that it's not an actual grower, but will assist all of those companies in what they do. So I like that that risk is kind of taken away from somebody who used to own Kronos and lost a few bucks.
Yeah.
I like that idea behind the stock.
Everybody out there, raise your hand if you knew that it takes all of that to grow some weed. I just, when we read the analysis report on everything that they do, that, dude,
I think
just take it, put it in the ground, throw some water on it, walk away.
I think they do more than just marijuana.
What else they growing? You grow some poppy?
Plants, man.
I mean, I'm just asking.
Yeah.
If we're going down the
Sunflowers.
You can't grow no cocaine.
I think tomatoes.
I'm just asking. All right. Anyway, I just got way off track there. I'm just put. Huh? Reel it in. Okay, reel it in now. All right.
Well, like Heidi's been growing watermelons.
What are you gonna say? Heidi's been growing.
We might go to the grow generation and get some hydroponics for our watermelon.
Okay.
I need humidifiers for my tomatoes.
You need humidifiers. All right. Listen, that's all I got to say about that. Let's get to this hot stock right here.
What I need is a pellet gun to keep the squirrels from eating the watermelon.
Listen, I ain't getting into none of this
All
stuff.
right, now, all right, so this is Sorrento. So Sorrento is just a fun, we talked about the story. This is the graph. The one thing I wanted to put there's two things. One is the value. So it's actually still trading I'd say it's fully valued at this point.
I agree.
Okay. Now, the story, though, is kind of on the bottom with earnings. So you're in a situation here where it's tremendous growth again, and bulk of it coming here recently. They should really be hitting their stride about July of next year, with or without this whole COVID thing that we talked about. So I think, honestly, in terms of the space, we're going to need testing until there is a cure.
Yeah. Even well, I don't know that it'll ever be a cure, but you're going to need testing when a vaccine comes.
Yep.
That was going to be my comment. Is that this is the kind of thing that doesn't go away. You're always
Right.
going to need to be tested for it. So.
Right. I'd much rather do the saliva test. So I hope this thing works.
You know something, in that industry, I had to take the COVID test. Came back negative, by the way. But
Oh wow, what was it like?
it sucked. Let me tell you, the nurse that did it said two things. She says, "Don't move your head because I don't want to do it again." And the second thing was, "Don't hit me."
Yeah.
That test is no joke. When they,
Yeah.
I think they hit my frontal lobe thing, whatever it is, the lobe thing.
Frontal lobe.
Yeah,
frontal
that. That thing is no joke. I'm
They
just saying.
They might have given you a lobotomy.
You know something? I'm going to go buy SRNE just because I don't want to go through that crap again.
got another
I'd rather
lobotomy.
just take some
Second.
saliva and go with it. I'm going to buy SRNE because I never want to go through that again. All right. So actually in this...
We're going to be showing this one at the Christmas party.
Yeah, probably. Along with the hydroponics and all that. Guess what, folks? You guys got two stocks in that industry, that whole COVID-19 industry, to really keep in mind going into the close of the summer. All right, so who knows how much it takes to grow weed? I can't get over that.
Yeah.
All right.